That what is going to be said now.
Alden, you're good to go. Tulasizwa, are you fine? Evening once more, colleagues. This has been a very long day for all of us. We felt that to avoid many other speculations and people speaking on our behalf, that we should come and brief you in this way. And we really appreciate the patience that you have exercised throughout the day. The Deputy Secretary General is going to read a statement detailing the ANC's reaction to the statement by the President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for waiting along with us. It's been a long night. A few minutes ago, Comrade Jacob Zuma announced to the nation that he is resigning as the President of the Republic of South Africa. This decision by President Zuma is consistent with what we had said earlier today, that he has never and will never defy his organization. The African National Congress, President Zuma remains a principled member of the ANC. In giving effect to the decision of the ANC NEC to recall him, President Zuma has reaffirmed his commitment to the principles, practices, and character of the movement to which he has dedicated his life. Having taken the difficult decision to recall Comrade Jacob Zuma, the African National Congress nonetheless wants to salute the outstanding contribution he has made and expressed its profound gratitude to him for the role he has played in the ANC, spanning over 60 years of loyal service. Whilst this may mark an end of his term of office as President of the Republic, we hope and believe Comrade Zuma will continue to work with the ANC as we undertake our program of fundamental organizational renewal and uniting all South Africans behind a shared vision of transformation and economic recovery. Comrade Zuma is the last in our line of presidents to have worked closely with the longest-serving president of the ANC, Comrade Oliver Tambo. He was trusted by Comrade OR and the ANC to set up underground structures of the movement. He also played a pivotal role in the peaceful negotiation of our transition from apartheid to democracy. In our democratic dispensation, President Zuma rose through the ranks, first serving government as a provincial member of the KwaZulu-Natal, before assuming his role as Deputy President and ultimately President of the Republic. While we acknowledge mistakes that may have been committed, President Zuma leaves a legacy of delivery in many critical areas, among them being the conceptualization and delivery of the National Development Plan, a long-term plan towards our common prosperity and a first in our country. President Zuma's passion for rural development saw his administration establish a dedicated ministry on rural development to further advance the ANC's program of land and agrarian reform. South Africa's mass rollout of an antiretroviral program, which remains the largest and most comprehensive in the world, as well as initial steps to roll out the national health insurance to create an equitable health system, was undertaken during his tenure. These efforts have contributed significantly to an increase in the life expectancy of South Africans. It is also under his stewardship that our country witnessed significant success recorded in education and the expansion of access to basic and higher education for the poorest of the poor, year-on-year increases on the matric pass rate, and the progressive implementation of fee-free higher education for the poor and working class. President Zuma's led government has also rolled out a massive infrastructure investment program, which helped sustain growth during an economic downturn, providing vital economic and social infrastructure. These are but some of the many achievements and strides made under the leadership of President Zuma. The ANC extends its gratitude to President Zuma for having served the country in this capacity for the last 9 years, particularly for the contribution he has made to progress in improving the lives of ordinary South Africans. While we accept the resignation of President Zuma, we reiterate that our decision to impose a recall was taken only after exhaustive discussions on the impact such a recall would have on the country and the ANC and the functioning of government. This decision provides certainty to the people of South Africa at a time when economic and social challenges facing the country require urgent and resolute response by all sections of society. The ANC now expects all our deployed members of parliament to cast their vote for the ANC President, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, as the candidate the ANC will nominate for president when parliament convenes to elect a president of the Republic. It is critical that South Africans are now united around the task of growth, job creation, and economic transformation. Finally, the ANC has received news of the passing of the leader of the MDC of Zimbabwe, Mr. Morgan Tsvangirai. The ANC expresses its condolences to the family of Mr. Tsvangirai and all supporters of the MDC. I thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, so we there hearing from Jesse Duarte, looking very emotional, Peter. Both of you and I, both seeing that.
Look, it was, you know, we know President Jacob Zuma as the jovial life of the party, and in fact the way he started it, remember he says, you guys are so tired, we're working, and he was joking right at the beginning. But you could see, in fact, let's go back to the Lutuli House and hear what the questions have been taken.
A quick one, Chula Sizo Semelana from ENCA. Throughout the afternoon and the evening, the outgoing president, Jacob Zuma, has been raising issues that you as the ANC have
All right, it seems like there's some questions coming from the floor. We're just crisscrossing between here, of course, and what's happening at the moment. So right now, journalists asking questions, writing them down. It's I can't really hear what they're asking, but hopefully when the answers come, we'll get more of an understanding. But let me try to keep quiet so we can actually hear. Let's try and hear what's being asked.
Outgoing President Zuma, for those who are still asking, what did this man do that's different from what has been happening in the last 9 years?
Yes.
Alvin Simpia from SABC TV News. Jesse, we have been here about 10 years ago with the recall of former President Thabo Mbeki. And it had great repercussions, and if you listen back to President Jacob Zuma's previous speeches, that has been his greatest fear, that there has been so many breakaway parties from the ANC. As a party, what steps do you think you can take to ensure that President Jacob Zuma or those who support him do not leave the African National Congress, especially heading into the elections? Is this something that you have been considering? Have you ever speak to President Jacob Zuma that he should also then appeal to his supporters not to leave the party?
Okay, DSG.
I think that President Zuma is within his rights to request reasons or what we believe his transgressions are. And if I'm not wrong, in the earlier interview he did in the evening, he requested that there be an ongoing discussion with him about that. I certainly think that the ANC leadership will make the effort to sit down with Comrade Zuma and discuss in detail what might have been issues that brought us to the point where we were when the NEC met. However, having said that, it is important for us to say to you that a critical consideration for all of us to remember is that we've been through weeks and months of haranguing of our President Zuma by the media, by the opposition, and that shouldn't be the reason why one recalls a deployee. However, it's been going on for almost solidly 3 to 4 years. And we believe that we do need to give this comrade respect and also spare him the humiliation of the ongoing votes of no confidence that come to Parliament, spurred on by almost a campaign atmosphere Tula Sizwe, especially from some media houses. We have to say that. So, yes, we will sit down with him first and discuss what we believe might be the issues before we venture into a slaughterhouse of opinion against him yet again by yourselves, if I may say so, and the opposition. Having said that, I also wish to make the point that we're not naive about the intentions of the opposition in this country. So we're not celebrating the fact that we had to recall a cadre of the movement that has served this organization for over 60 years. It's not a small matter. And we're not celebrating tonight that he has considered all the issues and has decided to resign. So we're not celebrating that. What we need to do is to move forward. And we know that as we go back to Parliament, the opposition will nominate their own candidates and vote for their own candidates and vote against the candidate of the ANC. We're very well aware of that. So the intentions of the opposition are not our primary concern. Their intentions are not intentions that should concern us so much. But, I think much is being made about from everywhere. What did I do wrong? We will answer that question to him. Certainly not make it a public venture one more time. It's correct. Secondly, the repercussions, yes, of course. Whenever a figure as solidly entrenched in the ANC as Comrade Zuma is, there will be voices that will cry out aloud. Why did you do this? What is going to happen now? I think, yes, we have, and we are dealing with it. We're sending out all our NEC members this weekend to 54 regions of the country to go and explain to the ANC membership why the NEC took the decision that they took. That's the first step that we will take. Beyond that step, Comrade Zuma himself will work with us to ensure that people do not leave the ANC, which he has worked extremely hard over the years to build, and which he worked extremely hard after we were unbanned by the apartheid regime, to ensure that peace was in fact the dividend of the negotiations. And I think we need to give him that. As we move forward, we know that he has agreed to do so and that he will work with us, which was somewhat different 10 years ago, Eldrin. I think there was a different atmosphere. We trust and hope that all those people who find this a very painful moment, and I can assure you it is painful, very, very painful, will work with the ANC and not walk away from it. And I think if you believe in the values of the ANC, you don't walk away from it because an individual is no longer there. Because none of us are members of anyone else. We are members of the organization. So hopefully that's the way in which we will go.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sorry, DSG, I have to apologize firstly, but it almost sounds that there is some double speak that's happening with regards to what it is that President Jacob Zuma has done wrong. Mm-hmm. And one would then get to understand why he feels so aggrieved, because now you have the party standing here and the party still can't say why it is that he has been recalled. Mm-hmm. How do you explain to someone after they've been recalled why it is that they've been recalled? And what message are you going to be giving to the ANC branches when you've already recalled this person, yet you haven't told him exactly what the reasons are for his recall?
He's asked for reasons, which we feel perhaps we should give to him. The NEC had a very long discussion. Reasons were forwarded in that discussion. We should give him those reasons that were forwarded by a number of NEC members who spoke. And perhaps that's really not something we should, and I'll say it again, I think that really in the interest of our organization and in the best interest of Comrade Zuma, the best place to advance and give that report is to him directly, not to the media. I'd like to say this, and I do not mean to offend you, and it's not an offensive statement. We are not living in a country where our media is known for being sensitive and known for caring about the feelings of people and their families. And for that reason, I'm not going to give you any reasons that were advanced by the NEC. I'm not going to do so. I think it would be wrong to do so. I think it would be adventurous to do so, and populist, to say the least. And I don't think we want to do that.
Okay, just a final one then. I guess the next step is obviously electing the new president, and the new president gets sworn in. Has there been any discussion around the cabinet? What happens to the cabinet? Will there be a cabinet reshuffle? And who then steps in as the deputy president?
None of that discussion has been held with the ANC at all. Remember that President Zuma's resignation is now 17 minutes old. And it would not be possible to have had that discussion within that time frame. No, none of that discussion has been held with the ANC at all.
Just a quick point of clarity, DSG. There are some questions about where the SG of the organization is at the moment.
The SG of the organization had to go to Paris today. As you know, that he and the TG of the organization were given until the end of March to conclude their work in their various provinces. And he had to do some of that work today, and that's exactly where he is. He's not absconding. He is, in fact, working quite hard. He's been talking to us on the phone. He's also been in touch on the phone with President Zuma. So he is connected to the issues, very much so.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thanks, colleagues. This brings us to the end of this short.
It's been a very long period. Yeah?
Transition.